Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Chameleon Academy Saturday Chameleon Workshop. Welcome. And yes, I am here a minute early for all of you who constantly check the clock. Yes, I am here. And I'm saying hello to everybody. By the way, if you're watching this on the replay, just know you can join us live every Saturday at 12 noon Pacific here on YouTube, the Chameleon Academy live channel on YouTube. And so I'll say hello to everybody in the chat. Chef Della. Oh, we're starting off with a question. We can do that. Although I've got a full show. Believe me, we've got quite the show coming up. So just wondering your thoughts about keeping a chameleon in an XL rep debris screen enclosure outdoors in Southern Florida. Maybe if you do it right. If you just take your screen cage from indoors with your indoor plants and coverage and you put it outside, you may kill your chameleon. If you set it up for outdoors, meaning heavy foliage so the chameleon can really get out of the sun, then it is a perfect thing to do. I do this often. I do a lot in Southern California. I use a lot of 2x2 by 4 foot tall screen cages. In fact, I built little planter boxes and put them on wheels so I can roll them around. The thing is that cage size is great to some extent, but it's not, you still have to watch to make sure the chameleon doesn't get overheated with the sun. The sun is a powerful beast, and it's what we bring our chameleons outdoors for and the thing we've got to defend against. So it will be a qualified good idea. So hello, James. James, what are you here for? Okay, he's going to be here somewhere. Hello, Leander. Okay, hello, Chris. Stephanie is working. What? Can you believe this? Work is getting into the way of chameleons? Are you listening to this, people? How is this happening? What's come to our country? Hello, Tony. Tony from Madagascar, class of 2026. And Robin from Madagascar class of 2027, Geraldine from 2026, and Steve Hefner, we got to get him. Maybe he's class of 2030. I don't know. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hey, we've got Konstantinos from Greece. Wonderful. Okay, James is going to lose reception. James, we need you. So let's see. Valentina's here. Hello. And there we go. And okay, we've got everybody here. Welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and throw up some slides because we got some stuff, things to go on. First of all, that is Hugo throwing out his blues. He's an ambilobe chameleon. He's a wild-caught ambilobe. But he's throwing out some serious blues. This is, oh, Janet's here. Hugo is now going to be living his best life with Janet. So very happy about that. I decided he is going to be on the cover because he has got more blue than usual for ambilobe. So he's going to, I'm really excited to see where he is going to, how he's going to grow up. He's still a young male, so he's still got some growing to do and some coloring up to do. So just love that guy. Let's see. I read about your dragon beard product on Reddit, then watched your video. Didn't realize at first you were the inventor. Probably talking about the dragon ledges. Really cool stuff. Bought some of your dragon ledges just yesterday. Excited about them. Excellent. Glad to hear that. Yes, I am the inventor of them. And because, boy, that's what we needed in the chameleon community. I invent stuff that the chameleon community needs. And that is the wonderful thing about being able to invent stuff when you're in a niche community like this is you create what you need. So, all right, let's go ahead and continue. She said, ledges. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I speak autocorrect. We get that a lot. And in fact, it's kind of fun trying to go through the what is written and try to figure out exactly what it is. Somebody a little while ago was asking about Nosy Bay water. And we still haven't figured out exactly what that was all about because he wanted pure Nosy Bay water. I guess panther. Maybe that's it. Anyway, we have fun with this. Welcome, Chef Dalla. Good to have you here. Fleck from Northern Ireland. Very good to see you here. We always we celebrate our European friends because for them to be here during the afternoon means they really want to be here. We've got Leander from Denmark. We've got Konstantinos from Greece, and we've got Flick from Northern Ireland. And if anybody else is hiding here in Europe, want to know about you because we love our Europeans. Speaking of Leander, we got to see, this is what a Danish chameleon looks like. The Dutch chameleon. This is Hugo and Holly, and they are the ones that live with Leander. And so looking, got some gorgeous colors on there. So we're, I don't know if Leander, do you have plans on breeding them? If you do, we want to hear. And by the way, everybody, do not have to breed. It is not the natural consequence. Even if you have a male and a female, don't breed unless you're absolutely ready for it. So when I ask about breeding, it's like, oh, what are your plans? It's like conversation. It's not meant to say you should breed. I want everybody to know that. We have so many chameleons. Unless you're breeding a rare species, we don't need more breeders, so only do it if you really, really want to. And you can have a male and a female and not breed them because the females are really cool too. So anyway, that's my big disclaimer on that. All right, let's see. For anyone that had a dubia enclosure, side panels are definitely thin enough to secure dragon strand ledges. Definitely ordering some after bills get paid. Okay. Yeah, they do. They can fit on other cages. David Lopez has a question. Hello, Bill. I live in Southern Florida as well, and I'm thinking about raising chameleons with natural sunlight instead of light bulbs, potentially in a greenhouse environment. Have you ever seen it done? Yeah, definitely. Greenhouses can definitely be used to raise chameleons, and just like anything else, you've just got to manage the environment inside. Greenhouses are great during the winter, and they are a horrible pain during the summer because just keeping them cool. Most chameleons, I mean, the greenhouse just goes so hot. Now in Florida, as long as you know how to maintain the environment in there, and you've got the funds to fund the electricity to maintain an environment within the greenhouse, yes, it works wonderfully. And in fact, having a bunch of screen cages in a greenhouse where in a room that you're maintaining the environment is easier than maintaining the environment inside a 2x2 by 4 foot tall cage. The larger the environment, the easier it is to stabilize it. And the less it's going to change with little shifts in lighting or misting or humidity, whatever, all that wonderful stuff. So most people don't have the opportunity to like use a grow tent or a greenhouse and then have cages inside. But it's been done before, and you can do it very well. It works. Leander says, yes, have plans on breeding in the future. Okay, Leander, when you are ready, let us know, because I want to follow that your steps there. And Constantino says greenhouse panels don't always allow enough UV through, so you need to select. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's one thing to keep in mind, David. Normal greenhouse panels will filter out the UVB, and so you need to get special panels to have the benefit of that sunlight. There's special panels that you got to get that will allow UVB through. So that is a baseline. And those are very expensive. Check into that before you go down this route. But if you do, it could be really cool. All right, let's go on. Chef Dell is asking that question. Hey, Bill, just wondering how many chameleons do you own? Chef Dalla, the answer to that is if I knew that question, then I would have to answer it when my wife asked me that question. And if I don't know it, who's to say? I have enough that I am working on finding new homes for them. I am doing a consolidation, shall we say. Valentina says, why does a larger enclosure stabilize the temps and humidity? It's because it takes longer to get that larger mass of air to a certain temperature. And so it's going to take longer for that large mass of air to lose that temperature. Same with humidity. And so especially if you get these like greenhouse humidifiers, you can really just fill the entire cage. But you talk about the entire environment. But if you talk about these little cages, it's like you turn on the humidity and also you turn on the humidifier or fogger, all of a sudden your humidity slams up and then you turn it off and your humidity slams down. And so you get that variation. It's a quick variation in a smaller space. In a larger space, the variation, it doesn't change as quickly. That's why larger is better. All right. Little news from around here. I've got that little guy here. This is a Shamrock Chameleon. And what do you notice when you see this? Of course, that's a question very few people know the answer to. But when you see this picture, anybody, while I take a drink, tell me, do you notice anything about this particular picture? We're going to talk about that, Shavi. All right. Well, I will let you know. Those are breeding colors. This guy he's fired up. There we go. That's exactly right. He's fired up. Thing is, he's been fired up since August. This is breeding colors for Kaluma O'Shaughnessy. And this guy has just kept this. It's like he is just waiting for a female. Unfortunately, the female that I have right now is not interested. And so he is denied, but he is not giving up. And let's see. James says, I have reception, but I'm still 10 minutes away. Good. James, you need to be here. And so this is just part of the acclimation process of getting him. He's a newer one, and so he hasn't had enough as many seasonal variations to lock in. I have others that have been with me for like 3 years, and those have now locked in. And this is important when you deal with wild-caught chameleons. There is when people get wild-caught chameleons, often for the first season, they'll lay eggs and you get eggs and all is wonderful. But the real challenge with wild-caught is keeping them season after season after season so they have time to switch to the northern hemisphere weather, our seasonal patterns. Like right now in Madagascar, it is the end of the rainy season right now. So they've just gone through their essentially what we would call summer, but it's our winter. And so it like flips on them when they come up here. And so it takes a while for them to acclimate to our flipped seasons. Once they acclimate to our flipped seasons, then some more of those natural behavior of this is the mating time actually sink. Doesn't mean they won't mate other times during the year, but when you have a male that is confused as to the seasons and the female who's confused as to the seasons, to mate them, they need to be the right confusion at the right time. So the same confusion at the same time, then they'll mate, even though they're not acclimated. But if they're a little bit off in their confusion to the seasons, you're not going to be getting a mating. So that's the situation. Um, and James, you here? Got to make sure you're here. And so, as Javi is now talking about, we have a little bit of a controversy out in the wilds of Facebook. And usually I completely ignore what goes on in the wilds of Facebook because it's usually, I mean, who in the world wants to keep track of that? But I ought to bring it up just because it may affect you here in the community. So somebody has decided that they don't like the name Shamrock Chameleon because it's not official. Okay, everybody, Shamrock Chameleon is a common name. A common name is what we all use, and different countries, different groups will use different names. It's the name that is easy to discuss within the lay people group. Shamrock Chameleon. The official name, Kaluma O'Shaughnessy, that is the same throughout the entire world. That is the one name that everybody has agreed on is going to be universal. We do not touch that. That is for scientists to determine. That is what CITES works off of. We do not touch the scientific name. The common name, you can call it anything you want. You go on to the Facebook group for O'Shaughnessy, and they call them O's. That's a common name. Are we going on to their group saying, oh, you can't call them O's? No. O'Shaughnessy's chameleon. Yeah, that's, I guess, the official common name, but who says that? Nobody says that. So what I'm saying is common names, you can say anything you want. Us calling it Shamrock Chameleon, number one, that's a freaking cool name. It's a lot better than any other name. It really describes the vibrant green colors, and it is respectful to the poet O'Shaughnessy, who is from Ireland. Okay, so it's a great name. And I think the problem is that the Shamrock Chameleon name is so perfect that it's starting to bleed out of the Chameleon Academy community, and other people are starting to take it on because it's cool. It's a great name. And so we have some stuffy people going, oh, this isn't right. It's a made-up name. We shouldn't be using this. Okay. I want to tell you, everybody, there is nothing wrong with us calling it Shamrock. In fact, we should call it something, a name that we use. We use Shamrock. We know what we're talking about. And if other people want to use that name, they are more than welcome to use that name. But I want to tell you that there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, we're using common names as they should be. So if anybody is trying to regulate common names and saying this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this, they are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. And if you are welcome to use Shamrock Chameleon in your Facebook posts, in your Instagram, anywhere you want to, because it's okay. If anybody comes up to you and says you shouldn't be using that, ignore them, block them. I finally got sick of Peter Nechas's ridiculousness. I left all of his groups and I blocked him. I don't need to see his garbage. So I'm not going to be dealing with his Facebook antics anymore. You decide what you want to do. All I got to say is people won't change. If they're being ridiculous, change the people around you. You are protect your peace. There's a difference between being corrected because you're wrong and somebody trying to just play control games. And on Facebook, you get a lot of people trying to play control games. So I'm going to give you permission to, if somebody is being ridiculous, block them. Block them. Why not? So Janet says, between the Shamrocks, Flappy Flaps, Fort Nose, I call it Bohemian because I can't remember the other name. Yeah, Janet, boy, how do you think he's got to feel when we talk about Flappy Flaps? And you better believe we're going to be talking about Flappy Flaps. That is now immortalized. I love Shamrock name. I mean, trying to say O'Shaughnessy without here. Yeah, it's O'Shaughnessy. You know, it's a good name, but nobody says it. So all right. I am now officially calling O'Shaughnessy their common name, Shamrock. All right. James is excited. Flappy Flaps will be next. Yeah, guys, let's get everybody calling Brevicorn Flappy Flaps. Oh, those people suck. They need to figure out their butt nose out of there and need to find a productive hobby. That's right. Clearly, I missed something. Oh, our good buddy Petr Nechas did a Facebook post saying that we shouldn't be using the name Shamrock Chameleon because there's an official name somewhere, something. And I will say, everybody, it is important when you are trying to, when you're talking about venomous snakes, you need to be, it's a good idea in that case that you have consistent common names that everybody uses because it's life or death to be able to identify a snake. We don't have that situation with chameleons, so we're fine. We're fine. So what about Pinocchio chameleon? I guess that's actually a new one. Yeah. Well, doesn't everybody use the common names of Panther Veil? Yes, they do. Oh, Terry, when you start following this thread and you start saying, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about most common names? I won't say most. So many common names are decided by importers. What the heck? Why are we going to say that's not? I mean, I'd love to say let's not do that. I hate the name Rainbow Jacksons. Machacos Hills Jackson's chameleon is a whole lot better descriptive and stuff. But, why pick on Shamrock? Let's start with Rainbow. So anyway. So I would say, everybody, don't join the drama. There's no reason to get into any Facebook fights on this. It's completely ridiculous. So don't let it stress your life. But if somebody comes at you, just know that they're being ridiculous. So you can ignore anybody who comes at you. And like I said, usually I completely ignore the drama that goes on in the outside world. I'm only bringing it up because this one is specifically targeted towards us. And so I'm letting you know, you're good. You're good. Keep using that name. You're good. And by the way, if I go on to the Kaluma O'Shaughnessy group on Facebook, I don't call them Shamrocks. I call them O's because that's what they call them there. When you go to another country, you speak the language if you can. And so, you can call them anything you want depending upon what country you go to. And if they come to the Chameleon Academy, they better use the word Shamrock or I'll kick them out. Oh, let's see. Valentina loved the section in Tuesday's Live where you dived into heat waste by white lights. Incredibly valuable. Okay. Yes. I talked about how our white lights generate heat. And that's why when you go out into the world of social media, they often say, no, you shouldn't give chameleons a basking light until they're 3 months old. So, and then I explained the origin of that. It's not that they don't need heat. It's that the white lights produce enough heat when they are that small and you have a small enclosure. And so it's always good to know the why behind all of these little simplifications that you find on the internet. And so, all these little simplifications, you're going, okay, why? There is usually a kernel of truth to every little thing that you hear on the internet. It doesn't mean that what you hear is 100% true, but it's always interesting. Even the things that I say, okay, that is absolutely false, but somebody somewhere had a kernel of truth that they attributed. They built up this conclusion from that kernel of truth. And so if we actually can go into history and find that kernel of truth, it's enlightening. And it's kind of a hobby of mine. I take things that are said on the internet, go, what the heck? But then you follow it back, and it's really interesting to see how it started. And sometimes there's a valid reason and a valid conclusion, and you just say, okay, here's a better conclusion. But all right. And by the way, we did talk. I'm going to bring this down just for a minute here. I talked about these little lights that you can use for baby chameleons if you have a smaller cage. And I wasn't able to pull one away because, well, it was attached. It was plugged in. So these are from Zilla. It's a little 25 watt bulb. I think they've got a 50 watt bulb as well. And you can put these right on top of a baby cage, and you don't have to deal with the big 60 watt. So this is a good way to have a localized heat for very, very young chameleons in a relatively small enclosure. So just letting you know. All right. Let me go through the chat. I totally agree about having the right people around you. Yeah, and let me say that once more. Often we go onto social media and we say, oh my goodness, I have to accept everything around me, and these people are being mean, and there's drama over here. I want to encourage you, take back your peace, take back your agency. There is no reason that you have to accept abuse or drama on social media. And you can be you can like a person and just say, I've had it with how you are online. And yeah, I've had, this is the final straw. I've had it with Petter's antics. He gets very ridiculous online, but this was just the final straw. But I'll still talk to him on WhatsApp. We'll still be in contact. I just don't want to deal with the garbage he puts on Facebook. So you can separate the person from what they put on Facebook. And this isn't about Petter. This is about everybody on Facebook. Everybody has this online persona. And if that persona causes you stress, causes drama that you don't feel like being part of, just block them. I know we have this idea that blocking people is an offense. It's like attacking. It's not. It's just protecting your peace. And that's so important. I've seen so many people burn out from the chameleon community because, and this is why it's important for me to talk about this. You know, I'm no life guru here, but we've seen so many people burn out from the chameleon community because they stay within these groups that are toxic, and they, for some reason, they don't leave those groups. They fight in those groups, and then they leave all burned out. Well, there are so many groups out there, so many opportunities, so many communities. Find one that's healthy for you, not one that riles you up, not one that makes you feel good about going out and beating up on some other group. Find one that feeds you, that encourages you, that makes you excited to be part of the chameleon community, that you're looking forward to what we're going to do in the future. Stick with that group. You don't need a whole lot of groups. You don't need to be in all the groups. I mean, there's this idea that I need to be in all the groups so I get all these different perspectives. It's a good idea in a way, but there comes a point where you realize, okay, not all perspectives have the same weight. And once you get sophisticated enough, you can make those decisions. Don't be hesitant to make those decisions and take stress out of your life. Take stress out of your life, because the reason why I care is because if you are in all of these groups that cause stress, and there's a lot out there, then you're going to get burned out and you're going to leave the chameleon community. And honestly, I mean, I won't pull on this thread, maybe another time. I almost left the chameleon community not so long ago because of that exact same reason. So I know exactly, this is why it's a deeply personal topic for me. And one time it'll be appropriate for me to go into that, and I will. I not today because I've got a lot of real cool stuff to show you, but we will get to that at one point. Let's see. Some people need to be humble to remind them they can have their own opinion. Yeah, and by the way, Javi, don't get involved. Don't take this as a crusade because it will go nowhere. It will absolutely go nowhere. Just accept, hey, some people are going to be like that. And we go on. We're building something here in the chameleon community. We've got the bifidus breeding group. We are heading towards a meetup in Michigan and Madagascar. We have got so much to do here in this group. We don't got time to mess with other people and other opinions. So, for some reason, I'm the focus of his personal attacks. I guess I'm controversial. James, you're always controversial. Oh. Michael, I just got into a chameleon, spent a lot of money on a lot of stuff, and I created a setup, sent it to you. Yeah, you'll find I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media for a lot of the reasons that we're talking about. Seems like everybody has negative things to say. The best thing to do is take a look at the people that you respect and look at their setups, because that is going to, I mean, I have made hundreds of videos and podcasts about setups, but there's nothing like just seeing a picture. Like, go check out James Cross's account on Instagram or Facebook. He does great stuff. The stuff I've got behind me, this is very much of a quarantine type because my guy has strongyloides. So we're working on that. So this is a functional setup. All right, I am running through the chat, and just know I was getting paid while trolling. Well, okay. Hey, Bill, when it comes to small batch breeding, is it also valuable for smaller clutches so the mother can disperse for nutrition and high quality gene traits? Well, with small batch breeding, we don't have much control over the clutch size. I mean, we can start to control with veiled chameleons, but with other species, it's really hard to control for clutch size. So that's not part of it. It'd be great if we could have that kind of control. I'd love to control clutch size and bring it down to 6 always. But small batch breeding is more about bringing more people on to help you because we can't control the size of the clutches. So, oh, wait a minute. Janet's asking, how is Indigo doing, Bill? Well, gosh darn it, let's talk about Indigo. So, okay, wait a minute. We've got a question. Heather's asking, I'm new to chameleons. He's got a panther and only 2 months old. Does he need heat? A very low wattage on him and screen doesn't get hot, 82 degrees. Okay, Heather. So there's the answer. Yes, he needs heat. The real question is, does he need a heat bulb? So he does need heat to warm up. The thing is, the reason why you're seeing a whole lot of different things out there on the internet is because often the white light, the lights that are on a small cage, produce enough heat that you don't need to add a heat bulb. It's not that they don't need heat, it's that they don't need a heat bulb in addition to the white lights. So that's why that statement, they don't need a heat bulb, is dangerous. Even though there's a kernel of truth to it, it's dangerous because that is true only if you have the white light producing enough heat. If somebody has the lights way up above the cages, the panther is not going to get enough heat. So they do need heat. You have a very low wattage on him. And that's the way to do it. You got to make sure that the light isn't so close that he will burn himself, because just remember, chameleons are not so good at knowing when they're being burned. I don't know what it is. It's a strange thing about them that they will sit under the heat lamp and they'll burn. So there's something about them. They just don't get that there's something going on. So you got to be careful about that. But that's the way to do it. You get a low wattage and the screen doesn't get hot. Okay, it sounds like you are checking the right things to make sure that it's safe. So that's what I can say about that. He's in a big screen enclosure. Okay. Yeah, so you just have to make sure that he gets enough heat and not too much. And if he is active during the day, he's eating, he's drinking, he's pooping, then he's doing fine. All right. So what's going on with Indigo? Indigo is a yellow lip Harson's chameleon that I am currently dealing with. And after I have been following a nematode infection that has, or infestation, infection that has over the last 4 fecals. And so I wanted to take him into the vet. And in a very strange turn of events, the vet tech took my sample, and I had a tech took the sample and found negative. She came back saying negative, and which is really strange because I tested that exact sample and it was filled with worms. So what happened? Who knows? But then I had to go into the appointment with the vet and say, okay, I know that you got a negative, but this is all of my documentation. And I was able to show four fecals worth of an infection that was slowly growing. And they said, okay, we decided I requested ivermectin. And for those of you who are familiar with the medications, you know you usually get fenbendazole, and that's because it's very safe. It's not systemic. It doesn't get absorbed into the bloodstream as well. So it's safe. And so everybody goes with that first for good reason. It's a good reason. And actually in 2007, all the books are saying use fenbendazole. Well, in 2023, the Singapore Zoo did a study. They had strongyloides, and they tried fenbendazole. They tried pyrantel pamoate. Didn't work. They finally got rid of the infection with ivermectin. And so could anybody tell me why I'm, unless you're a parasite nerd, that you're not going to know. But there's a reason why that makes sense. Because strongyloides, and here we got to be careful. What we know about strongyloides, what we know about most parasites, is we know about the human version or livestock versions. It is an amazing thing that a scientist can follow the life cycle of a microscopic organism that changes complete shape. And so somehow you got to follow that. So it takes a lot of money. Thus, we in the reptile world, we are borrowing information from the human world. And we always need to realize that that's not a sure thing. We don't know that they follow the life cycle of the human parasite. They may. There's a good enough chance that we can make an assumption, but we always got to know that we're making that assumption. Well, the thing with strongyloides is the females in the human, Stercoralis, goes into the mucosa, into the wall of the intestine. And that's where she lives, and she lays eggs inside the wall of the intestine. So the fenbendazole stays within the lumen of the intestine, in the inside of the intestine. It doesn't get really absorbed into the walls very well. Now, you can give lots and lots and lots of fenbendazole, and it will absorb, but something like ivermectin will absorb, it will be systemic. You got to be really careful with something that's systemic. Metronidazole, flagyl, is systemic. And a lot of times you give metronidazole and the chameleon goes into a funk. It's because their body, it gets into all areas of their body and they got to process it. Ivermectin is like that. And so you don't we don't like to go, I don't like to go, nobody likes to go into ivermectin unless you have to. Well, in the case of strongyloides, that's one of those things where as long as they follow the human life cycle, you need to use a systemic. You need to use ivermectin or else you're not going to hit the strongyloides. And the test that the Singapore, or test, the paper that the Singapore Zoo put together with their colony of panther chameleons in 2023, they tried the thimbendazole, they tried the pyrantel. That did not clear up the infection. The infection cleared up when they used ivermectin. So that suggests that the chameleon strongyloides does follow that aspect of the human human version species. So anyway, that big long thing, I finally did get ivermectin. Indigo has been a little bit lethargic, hasn't been excited about eating. These are normal expected side effects of ivermectin. So keeping a close watch over him. He's not back there right now because it's a beautiful day out and he is outside getting some natural sun. And boy, I would just put the sprinkler on him and let it run for so long. Yes. And Michael, if you are, Michael was interested about Jackson's Chameleon. If you are on Facebook, Jackson's Chameleon community is the absolute best place to be. And you will be able to talk to people who have expertise in Jackson's chameleons. And you will see a lot of pictures. See, David Lopez is saying, it's been explained to me that by creating a stable, consistent environment for incubation across clutches, you can get the timing of the hatching cycle to a predictable, replicable place. Thoughts? Maybe. Yes. Some eggs, especially like first fur and kaluma, you can get them through a diapause, and when you take them out of diapause, then they start developing. And so you can control when they hatch based on when you take them out of diapause. Now, you got to get good at that. And there's a lot of other things that go into the timing, which includes the eggs doing whatever they feel like doing. So yeah, we love to think that we're in control, but the eggs do what they want to. If you want to control when the eggs will hatch, then set up a vacation schedule for when you want them to hatch. And that usually does it. They will hatch right as you're leaving for the airport. So that's my suggestion. It's always worked for me. Oh, I'm sorry for all the noob questions. Those are the best kind of questions. Go ahead, give them. Yeah, Dave, this is what we're here for. You go ahead and ask questions. And everybody, just to explain, that's what these live sessions are for, is for these questions. And I do it twice a week. I do not answer emails. I do not answer DMs. I do not answer Facebook, any of that private stuff. So I make myself available twice a week. And the reason why I like this is because everybody benefits. You're right. I cannot go into one particular case. That's what Facebook is for. We've got some great books on Facebook. Jackson's Chameleon Community, the Chameleon Enthusiasts. Those are two great groups. Those are groups that are reputable and low drama. Go there for the deep dives. But here, this is where you can ask questions. And when I answer, everybody benefits. Not only everybody in the chat, but everybody who watches the replay. And you believe we actually have people who watch the replay. They sit around, they just sit and they turn this on and they have their hour plus of chameleon talk. So yes, this is where we want questions. All right, let me try to get through the chat. Robin is giving some deep insight into chameleons. They will lay eggs and hatch when you don't want them to. So yes, David, make it, if you set up like the most inconvenient time possible, you will be controlling when they hatch. Yep. All right. Bill, do chameleons who are parasite-free have babies that are parasite-free, or are they stillborn or hatch with parasites? Oh, Valentina, that is a question we are still answering. First of all, if a chameleon does not have parasites and there's no parasites around, the babies will not have parasites. So that answers your question. If your chameleon is parasite free, then the babies are going to be. The question is if the mother has parasites, what of those parasites can transfer to eggs? And that people are still looking into that, because sometimes baby chameleons have parasites and people are saying, how is this possible? Are parasite ova brought with the egg when it goes through the cloaca? Is that when it picks it up? Were these parasites in the soil already? We don't know. So we are looking into this. What was the Jackson's page? Jackson's Chameleon Community. That's it. All right, let's see. What do I have next? Oh, everybody, it's the end of the era. My wife, Yvette, just used up her last T8 UVB bulbs. Oh, you remember so many years ago when the T8 was the UVB bulb of use. And you know, the reason why we're still using it now, even though T5s were more powerful, is because when you want to use them for Eurypletus fantasticus or baby chameleons, you want the lower power UVB. You don't want to blast the cage. And so this is why it's important to know the characteristics of a UVB lamp and not just say everybody needs a T5. What you need is to understand that there are different powers in UVB and they are used differently. And we're very sad because the T8 was perfect for Eurypletus fantasticus. And now we've got the last 12 months of using these. And when these go, we are going to have to make the change to UVB, LED UVBs. The fluorescent lights are being phased out. We have an exception for the T5 for UVB bulbs. So we're going to have UVB bulbs in T5s for the foreseeable future, but those will soon go as well. I don't know when. So we all have to start transitioning over to UVB LEDs. And that's just what technology does. And we've got to follow. We've got to follow. You know, you say you don't answer DMs. I sent you a picture of my cage. Does that mean I won't get a reply? Probably not. If I remember during this after the show, I may check. I may check for it, but I really stay away from social media a lot. So this is the place to find me, right here. Well, I was just wondering about slow or long gestating parasites. Okay, so if we're talking about what are you talking about? Are parasites that stick around in the environment for a long time, and like Coccidia oocysts will persist in the environment for a long time. As far as how long they take to develop, what parasites generally do is they send out the reproductive material, the ova, the oocysts, into the environment, and they just sit there and do nothing until they have the right chemical wash around them that tells them that they are now in the correct intestines. And most oocysts and ova will not make it into the right intestines and they will die. Some of them do, but it's that chemical wash that triggers them to excyst or to hatch. All right, everybody, it is story time. Right now, as we speak, our very own Stephanie Kong, who is the Madagascar class of 2025, is now in Namibia questing for Chameleon nemacoensis. And so it is time that I give you this story of her search. This is Stephanie on the right, and she is now trekking with her childhood best friend, and they're going to Namibia. By the way, everybody, Stephanie is a wildlife biologist in Botswana, and so she is as close to Indiana Jones as we're going to find. This is the gorgeous landscape that she is now enjoying. So let me see. Going back to the chat, making sure I don't get too far behind. So yes, okay. So she sent me this picture of the Strand Hotel. I was wondering where I put that, and that's her just being Stephanie and having fun. So, yes, I need to introduce Badger. This is Stephanie's rig that she uses to travel across the savannah. This is what she uses for work and for every time she's out there. You see that thing on top? That is where she sleeps. That is the safer place to sleep because if you're on the ground, you tend to get visitors during the night. So, let's see. Oh, and you notice the ventilation that goes, the tube that goes up the side. That's when you have to cross rivers. So yes, this is Badger. This is her baby. She says, even though she is staying in some very nice places, this is what you got to deal with over in Namibia. All the sand in the shoes. Now, she does say that this trip isn't very adventurous. I said I wanted to share her trip, and she said, "Oh, but this isn't one of my adventurous trips." All right, everybody, I want to let you know what her baseline is. This is her baseline. This is how she lives. And you know, let's go ahead and add this to the stage. Yeah. This is right outside her tent. This elephant just walking along. So when Stephanie says, yeah, it's not very adventurous. Yeah, she has a different level of what adventure is. In fact, when I was talking to her originally, she had to take a break, and apparently she had to brush a cobra off her desk. The heck? So that's what you get. There she is posing with Badger, her best friend. And what is she doing here? She's feeding hippopotamus. Hippopotami? She's feeding hippos. That's the kind of thing that she does on a daily basis. Loved her painted toenails. Yes. Oh, I want to be here when I grow up. Oh, don't we all? She is, and by the way, everybody, she is going to be there in Madagascar 2027. So, Robin, you will be able to meet her. She is such a wonderful human being. Oh. And there she is. A lot of times she has to go out into the field, and this is her being out in the field, getting a picture done, and you can see inside Badger, that's where all the equipment goes. And I asked her about that tent up there, and although I understand it's a lot better up there, I mean, leopards climb and elephants are about at that level. And so I asked her, does she ever get any visitors even up there? And she said she has never, although there was a case where a leopard learned to use the ladder and pulled two people out of their tent. And she said, but that's the leopard was probably sick, and that's a very rare case. And I'm thinking, I tell you, I'm pulling up that ladder. Oh, all right. And we do take breaks in during story time for questions, for legitimate questions. So, quick question: I have a few larger grapevine sticks in there. Some people say they are too thick, and I don't want to start all over. Are thick branches okay? They aren't all thick, and I have vines. Thick branches aren't the best for chameleons. Chameleons will use them to climb, but they're not comfortable to perch. Chameleons like branches that are to where they can get their feet all the way around to halfway around, and those are the perfect diameter branches. Uh, as long as you have thin branches in there where they can perch for the heat lamp, or they can sleep, because that's what they're going to spend. You want them comfortable while they're sleeping. So thin branches behind the plants, they should be okay. But the large grape branch sticks aren't the best for chameleons. And yes, she does encounter chameleons, and they do let her know exactly what they think of her. This is a Camaleo dilepis, giving Stephanie an editorial comment. And there's a picture of dilepis when it's not trying to let you know what it thinks about you. Yes, Nate, absolutely correct. Dilepis. And you can see that they have that little flap on the back of their head, and that's how you know it's dilepis. A lot of times they get confused with gracilis or senegalensis, but when you see that little flap at the end, at the back of their head, that's how you know it's dilepis. So now, everybody, I am going to give you a little side story. We are going to, this is a day in the home life of Stephanie Kong. She just moved into a new home. And I was having this conversation with her this morning, and it is so surreal and hilarious that I had to share it with you all. So, what you see in the middle, that is Africa, and that is Botswana that is redded out there. And there is Stephanie with her dog and with her millipede friend that she found just walking around. This is her new home. It's a little bit rustic. It's on 20 acres. And so, of course, she's living in the outback. So this is kind of a nice house. But there are some interesting aspects. So this is what she just casually said in texting me this morning. And we have this crazy owl infestation. Okay, so I had to ask, owl infestation? What is talking about? What's the common name, Bill, for the dilepis? I don't know. That's one where the scientific name was easy enough that we use that. Oh, okay. Little break for chameleon question. Are there specific types of wood for branches that you guys prefer? Any reason why one shouldn't collect appropriately sized branches in the neighborhood? David, I love sycamore, and we find that in parks all over. So it depends on where you are. Sycamore is a great wood. I would just stay away from pine. I just don't like pine, like the sap and stuff like that. And I collect from branches. If there could be a problem with pesticides if people use it. Maybe, I don't know. I go to parks and I collect from parks. That's what I do. Oh, cool. We get to make another name. So anyway, we have this crazy owl infestation. I said, owl infestation? Well, apparently she's got so many owls that they fly into the house, and she has to grab them like pigeons and move them out of the house and take them out of the house. No owls are harmed. She loves owls. but they've got to get out of the house. And so she ends up having to take owls out of the house, like I have to take out sparrows. And you're thinking, what do you mean owl infestation? Well, she says they get so loud that it's hard to watch movies. I'm thinking, wait a minute, loud? What are you talking about? These are barn owls, by the way. So she sent me a video. Okay, everybody, turn up the volume if you've got volume. Yeah, well, I guess you're listening to me, so you're not reading the captions. But okay, so this is it's dark, but this is what she sent me for the owls. Imagine dealing with that all night. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, I love birds. Yeah. She's actually very excited for the life she lives and the adventure she has to share. Now, she also shares her home with some Bribon's thick-toed gecko, Crondodactylus bibronii. And I know we've seen this every now and then in pet trade, but she lives with them. They live with her. Apparently, this is the guy that lives in her recliner. And here is the back and forth that we had. And for the people who are listening, everybody who's watching this, you can read it. But for the people who are listening, I'm going to read what she wrote me. That one lives in my recliner, so I see him a lot. They are territorial, so the one in my recliner is separate from my bathroom population, which is separate from my closet population. So, yeah, there's a lot of she's actually got gecko populations, and apparently they're tribal, and so they don't talk to each other. Recliner gecko is insane. I know, I love that. So, and then she found a small snake. Huh, anybody recognize that? Well, she didn't know what it was, so she grabbed it with barbecue tongs and put it into a cooler box to figure it out after work. Anybody expert with snakes here? Turns out to be a stiletto snake, potentially fatal. No anti-venom. Anybody here know about the stiletto snake? This is a very interesting snake because they are able to rotate their fangs independently. And so what they do, you cannot grab this snake like behind the head or anything, because what it will do is it'll take its fangs, it will rotate it so the fangs stick out from the side of its mouth, and then it will flash back and forth. And so it doesn't have to bite you to envenomate you. It just has things sticking out of its cheeks, and it goes whamp, and you've got it. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Oh, well, you know what? This is her quote. Always something fun here. And that is that little Chameleon dileptus that we saw from before. He has calmed down and he has been released back into the wild to do what he's going to do. So at the end of this story, it's now nighttime over there. And tomorrow she will be seeking the beast. Tomorrow she's going to be looking for Chameleon namakoensis. And I hope to be able to have the second half of her adventure to present to you next Saturday. So it is ongoing. In real time, we are following her adventures. So hang tight and come back next week when we find out if she actually finds namakoensis. And for those wondering, What is Chameleon namaquensis? That is one of the strangest chameleons. It's an ugly thing, but it is a chameleon that lives on the sand dunes. It's got a very short tail, and it runs across the sand dunes. It is the most unique chameleon. Chameleons are the most unique things in the world. This is a unique chameleon. And this guy is so bad to the bone, we'll say that. What he'll do is he'll use his tongue to stun the asp. Those are venomous reptiles, like a sidewinder. And he'll go bam, and he'll stun the snake with his tongue, and then he'll eat the snake. He'll go after the scorpions, and he knows to bite off the stinger and such. So if you're talking about a chameleon that grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, that's namaquensis. You don't want to meet this guy in a dark alley. Oh. Oh. So, all right, everybody. Oops. That is the show for today. Are there any last questions? We had quite a rip-roaring show today. So I am really glad. Thank you very much for joining me here for this Saturday, the Saturday session. It has been wonderful spending this time with you. And I will see you all. I'll be here Tuesday. For those of you who are new to this show, I will be here on Tuesday, and Tuesday at 5 p.m. And Tuesday at 5 p.m. is complete question and answer session. I don't have a presentation. The presentations are on Saturdays. That's what we got here on Saturdays. Tuesday night is office hours, complete question and answer session. So please bring all those beginner questions. That is the exact time for it, and we will talk about it. And I hope to bring what you hear from the internet and say, why do they say this? Does this make sense? And I will let you know why they're saying that, why it makes sense in some places, and when you shouldn't use it. So please come with everything that you have to question. And on Tuesdays, and we answer questions on Saturday too. So everybody, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.